Hello everyone and welcome to SwitchUp. Today we've got a video for you on some of the more essential games that you need to get yourself for the Nintendo Switch. Now the way we're going to do this is we're going to highlight 5 different genres and then give you 2 games for each of those genres. The reason we do this is we'll pick one that we feel is very obvious, so much so that it would be crazy not to mention it, but then we'll give you an alternative that's either cheaper, maybe it's a small indie game, it could be that it's not known as well, or it could just be that it's so similar to the other one that if you've played that and enjoyed it, you'll like this one too.
Exactly right, yeah, so we're going to go through those games. Obviously there'll be 5 of each genre with an alternative, and do make sure that you save 10%. Once again, we've got our 10% discount on our website, that's switchup.gg, using code SwitchUp. So yeah, all that's left to say is, what are 10 of the most essential games on Switch? Well, let's find out.
Okay, so we'll start with the Simlife genre, if you want to call it that, and we'll start with the obvious one, I'm sure, which is Animal Crossing. Now, Animal Crossing obviously is one of Nintendo's own products, and it's a game that's definitely garnered quite a huge following, to be fair, over recent years. I mean, it's a series that goes way back, but I would say, personally, I think it's the 3DS entry that really gained it a bigger audience, you know?
Yeah, I remember I used to work for Game in Cardiff, back in Wales, and the manager there, I mean, at the time I thought he was ancient. He was only about 30. But he used to hide in the stock cupboard. I'd be like, what are you doing? He'd be on his DS. And he'd be like, oh, I've just got to do a few things in my Animal Crossing world. I'd be like, what on earth? but he, there's a passion behind it, isn't there?
There is, yeah. I mean, I first heard of the series on the GameCube, although I didn't play it. But the main reason was because in that version, I'm sure you could play like old arcade games in there.
Oh,
there was a way of doing that, which I don't think they've ever done since. But the first one I actually played was on the DS, as you mentioned, and then obviously the 3DS one, and now we have the one on the Switch. You haven't played this one, have you?
Well, I have. I've played a little bit. I went into Ursha Gaming, Irene from Ursha Gaming. I went into her world and had a little look around.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But other than that, because I like the online aspect of pretty much everything, which is a bit weird. So I wanted to see what other people had made, and I didn't find it as interesting making my own stuff. Yeah,
no, I can understand that. I mean, that's the part. Some people go mad for it, and they're so creative. Fair play, the things that they come up with. Dave over at SaveDex.
Yeah.
His wife is a big player of this game, Sophie, and she's created some amazing stuff. She's got some really nice videos, like how-to videos making costumes for your residents. Like she's made Ninja Turtle costumes and all sorts. It's really, really clever. But that's the side of it. It's amazing how much depth there is in there. If you wanna look for it, you can play it on a surface level. And to be fair, you can get bored if you kind of stay on that surface level. I can understand that, but there is so much down under the surface if you dig down for it.
Yeah. So there's things that I do find really, it has that collecting mechanic from the. There's like a museum, isn't it? Is that right? That you can add things to?
Yeah, there's a museum where you can dig up fossils and you can create the dinosaur bones, and you can find pieces of art and store them in the museum. But there is a chance that you can buy a fake piece of art, which is quite funny.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like you have to look at it'll be a famous painting, say like the Mona Lisa, for example, and you have to look at it carefully before you buy it, because there may just be some little discrepancies and stuff that you have to look out for.
That's quality. Was that in there at launch?
Yeah, this is what I mean. There's so much there that you just wouldn't necessarily know about if you go about your day and you pull up some weeds and you whatever, I don't know, go and do a bit of digging, do a bit of fishing, then just go to bed. You'll never see any of this, and it's there though if you do look for it.
Feels like a metaphor for life.
Yeah, something like that.
So what's the alternative pick then?
The alternative is one that you'll be able to say more about than me, and that's Cozy Grove.
Yes. Yeah, Cozy Grove. So it's essentially the indie Animal Crossing. And it has a very, very big following now. There's at launch, I don't think I was harsh on it. It lacked, like you were just talking about there, in terms of the depth of the game. It lacked that, I would say.
Right.
It was quite repetitive, which again is a silly thing to say in a game like this, but it was repetitive and not as enjoyable as Animal Crossing.
Right. Yeah.
But I feel they've gone back. They've added in huge free updates for the game, loads of new content, and it feels like it's almost. I guess I should imagine when Animal Crossing first came out, it didn't have all the stuff it has now, right?
Oh, it's had a huge amount of updates over time. Yeah, I couldn't tell you what and when, but they definitely supported it for a good while over the subsequent months. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it feels like that's what's happening here.
Nice.
And I absolutely love this art style. I mean, obviously we're not looking at it as we speak, but you know, that hand drawn, like the artist, whoever it is incredibly talented. The characters just look amazing.
Yeah, I can see that. I've obviously seen the game running, and it does look lovely. Yeah,
and they have the full story that runs throughout the whole thing. I think the main problem for a game like this, and I've said it many times, is if you're trying to review something that plays out over several days, it just doesn't work the same. You know, it's about relaxing and not stressing about moving on to the next quest or whatever, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. If you can almost play these games with a mindset that will stop you from having fun, can't you?
Yeah, exactly.
So I was just going to say very quickly, just before we move on, I just want to reiterate again, the purpose of this video is that there are 5 genres that we're covering, and just 5, with an obvious pick and an alternative. And the reason I say that is because I can almost hear the tapping of a keyboard somewhere with someone saying, I can't believe you've included Cozy Grove, but you haven't put on Mario Kart, or something to that effect, you know? So just to make that clear one more time, that's the purpose of this video, okay?
Definitely. And do check out the other ones in this series, because you may find some of those games on there.
Absolutely. Okay, we'll move on to our next genre then, and our next genre is the JRPG. So for this one, we've gone for the big pick, if you like, the more obvious pick being Shin Megami Tensei 5, which came out last year, wasn't it? It was last year it released, having been almost become like a mythical creature, if you like, because it had been one of the games that were announced at the launch of the Switch.
Wow.
And then it just went quiet for so long.
That has been ages, hasn't it? My word.
Yeah, it was a good 5 years or so before the game, you know, then came out. But I mean, in my opinion, it was well worth the wait. I'd only played one other Shin Megami Tensei game, before, which was number 4 on the 3DS, and it was a series I'd kind of heard of, but you know what it's like. You can't play everything. It's just not enough time in the day. And I picked that one up on a bit of a whim and really enjoyed it. And then 5 kind of takes that on again, and it's just, for me personally, I love the idea of the demons. Kind of the way that you get yourself new party members in this game is that you talk to, negotiate with, and try to come to an agreement with some of the demons that you're actually fighting. Like mid-battle, you can talk to them, and they'll join your team. And obviously they'll have a level that they are at that particular moment, and then they become part of the team and they level up and get stronger. But you can then fuse them with other demons and create new hybrid demons that may be even stronger still.
Okay, so excuse me, because I haven't played this. I haven't played any of the games in the series. I've played I've played a reasonable amount of Persona.
Right, okay.
And isn't the hybrid fusing mechanic, is this all part of the same universe? What's going on here?
Yeah, so this is another thing that some people may not realise actually, is that the Persona series is actually a spin-off of Shin Megami Tensei, because I suppose Persona has become, maybe, you know, I think it's fair to say, that bit more popular over time. Certainly with the release of like 4 and 5, some people may not realise actually it is a spin-off of Shin Megami. Now, I haven't played Persona. I do own 4 on the Vita, and it just the size of it and how much time I'd have to invest in it scares me that I've never actually got around to playing it. So I can't talk about the comparisons and the similarities, but they are definitely linked, yes.
Someone is now typing, you have to play Persona.
I know, I can hear it now. I can't believe you haven't played Persona 4 Golden yet. I will, one day.
Good stuff. So what would be the alternative pick then?
For the alternative, we've gone for one that you reviewed actually quite a while ago now, and that's Battle Chasers. I think it's called Nightwar. I think I'm right in saying that.
It is Nightwar. Yeah, there was a bit of a thing when it launched where some people call it Nightwar. But it's Nightwar, I think. I hope so anyway. But yeah, this is based on a graphic novel or graphic comic book, something like that. And it is basically, in its purest form, it's a 90s JRPG, which is with this beautiful art style draped over the top. And that's warts and all as well, right? Like, you've got your questing that's pretty by the numbers. Go here, do this. You've got your turn-based combat, but it looks so damn good. Like, I really was sucked in, and you know me, like we said this the other day, I'm very visual.
Yeah.
And I know you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but when the book looks this damn good, I was able to overlook some of the latter grindy stuff as well, because, you know, I grew up playing Final Fantasy VII 6 times.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I don't mind that. It doesn't really bother me too much.
Does it add any, what would you call, I don't know, quality of life features, for want of a better phrase, for maybe newer players, or is it quite proud of the fact it's an old school game, if you know what I mean?
Well, old school doesn't necessarily need to be difficult, you know, a high bar of entry. Like Final Fantasy is easy enough to pick up and play.
Yeah,
it's just a bit grindy. And this is really easy to get into. The overworld where you walk around, I guess, is actually almost a streamlined version of an old school world map, because you can't really go wrong.
Right.
You know, the next destination's it's right there. You're moving towards it. I'm not a big fan of random battles, and if I'm not mistaken, you have random battles along the road, which, just, you know, I've just said I don't mind old school, but that's one thing from old school I could quite happily drop.
Well, that's what I kind of meant in terms of quality of life features, because some newer games have like I don't know, say a slider bar where you can reduce the rate of them or things like that. I'm taking this is just good old school, you know.
Yeah, as far as I remember, I mean, it's been a long time. It's been a long time, but as far as I remember, they may have added in something that adds in, you know, less battles. Maybe someone could let me know in the comments. Maybe I've completely misremembered it, and you could switch it all off. Who knows?
Okay, let's move on to the next genre then. So the next one is the Metroidvania genre. Now, plenty to pick for here. I mean, you've got kind of, you know, big Nintendo's own ones like Metroid Dread, but we have gone for an indie classic in Hollow Knight.
Yep, Hollow Knight. I don't even want to. It's not. I don't want to talk about it, but I just want to talk about Hollow Knight Silk Song.
Yeah.
So I'm going to. So sorry. Hollow Knight was the, it was the game that's coming before Silk Song. Hollow Knight is an old school Metroidvania created by just 3 people with a little bit of help from some others. But it is a perfect blend of controls, precision timing, some Souls-like elements. Just every system's perfect. The way you defeat enemies, and then that's how you then restore your health. The movement system, the little upgrade things you can slot into your character. There's nothing new here. It's just brilliant. Like the world design is incredible. There are some frustrating elements to it. Things like the mapping system. Some people really don't like the fact that you could not find a map, you know. You could not find the maps for an area, because you have to find a little bloke and he'll sell it to you.
Oh, okay, I see. Okay.
And for a period there, I was like, I can't bloody find him anywhere.
he was having his lunch, wasn't he? He was on his lunch break. That's what it was.
He was down the cafe. Yeah.
Having egg and chips.
Exactly right. Nice cuppa. But yeah, so there are elements that you could either find frustrating or you could find them rewarding. You know, it flips on a dime when you're actually playing the game, because you do go from like to yes, and it's the same with the boss fights. But they've just put a massive trailer out for Silk Song. We've got to show some of that footage on the screen, hopefully. It looks brilliant. It looks like a real refinement. They've gone for the aerial combat. I played this one 3 years ago, Silk Song. We played their demo, and
yeah, we did. That's right.
It's just this is my jam, as you know.
Yeah, no, definitely. And you know what? The other thing about Hollow Knight, just moving back to Hollow Knight, it's like £10.99 on the eShop.
Yeah,
that's crazy cheap, isn't it? That's silly money, really. They're giving it away.
And it caters for 2 big styles of play. You like to play a Metroidvania, A to B, job done, right? And you want that to be around about 10 to 20 hours.
Yeah, definitely. That's me. Yeah.
And that is what this is. Or you can go back into that world and you can spend 100 hours. Like, there's content for days if you want it.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's good. I like that.
Yeah, so that's that one. I don't know about the alternative. This is one that you played that I've actually purchased it, but I haven't played it. It's the Mummy Demastered.
Yeah. No, you've got to play this one. I mean, this is a much smaller experience. I mean, I think I 100%ed it in about 6.5 hours, which is, you know, for a Metroidvania these days, especially when you have things like Hollow Knight knocking about, you know, some people I'm sure will turn their nose up and say that's not long enough, which is fair enough. I can understand that. For me, I mean, I say that it was a little too short even for me, and I do like a nice concise gaming experience, but the quality of the game along the way means that for me it needs a mention, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. So there was the spin-off TV show, is that right, of the Mummy, and then this is based loosely on that?
No, this, as far as I know, this is based on the Tom Cruise film.
Don't mean TV show, sorry. I mean like the sequel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I sounded like a right lemon there. Oh well.
No, I mean, because I'm a big fan of the Universal monster movies, you know, going all the way back into the 30s, Dracula, Frankenstein, The Mummy, of course. Big fan. Love those films. Still watch them to this day. And they were going to reinvent the monster universe for a modern age. And The Mummy, as far as I can remember, was the first one. I mean, obviously you had the Brendan Fraser films back in, I think it was the 90s, but they were going to go and reinvent this big new universe. And as far as I am aware, I didn't see it, but it absolutely tanked, like absolutely tanked. So they scrapped the idea. But this game, which has very little to do with the film as far as I've heard, is very, very good. It's just a nice, tight experience. You know, you've got your typical Metroidvania tropes of gathering new weapons and then revisiting older areas. You know, you can kind of blitz your way through it to a degree and get to the final boss and chance your arm, or you can spend time searching around for extra weapon canisters, fuel tanks, whatever you call them, and health canisters, that sort of thing. You know, it's very, very standard, but it's very, very good. It's just that length may put some people off.
Yeah, I'd be keen to know what people in the chat think about the whole game length versus value debate. You know, this is a prime example where, is it about the length or is it about the whole experience? It's a difficult one. But then I don't know, it really annoys me when people go, that their argument is, but you'd pay £15 to go to the cinema.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, for me, a game is a different experience.
It's completely different. Yeah. It's you go to watch a film to be very passive and watch the events around you. You take part in a game.
Exactly.
You know, and it takes that bit longer to get going and for you to understand the role that you are playing in this experience and stuff. So you do need it to be longer to get your money's worth, I feel.
There you go, yeah. Tend to agree.
But yeah, that aside, very good game. So we're going to move on to the next genre. Now we're going to look at tactical RPGs, having obviously just looked at JRPGs, which is a genre that I don't play as much of, I must say. I'm going to talk about the one we've picked as our obvious one in a moment, but what I am going to say first is probably the most obvious by most people's standards would be Fire Emblem Three Houses on the Switch. Now we haven't included that because neither of us have played it. Now I've played Fire Emblem games going way back to the GBA, and it took me forever to find a physical copy of this game. I don't know what happened with it. I don't know if Nintendo put a low print run out, but I couldn't find it anywhere, and I actually found it about 6 weeks ago. So I am going to be playing it soon, but it just can't be on here yet for that reason. So that said, the one we've gone for is Triangle Strategy.
Yeah, I'm really pleased that this has made our list. It's a game that has aged brilliantly. Like, I loved it, you know, I loved it when it came out, and I really did hit it with a high score. But some, you know, you look around at other reviews, and most people loved it, but maybe not as highly as I did. But actually, it seems to be building up this real appreciation post-launch. I'm not sure where I've been looking online, but I've seen a lot of comments about, actually it's Reddit, I think. There was a post on there about the game, just about how good it is when you actually look at the nitty gritty, at all the different details, mechanics and things that work so well together. It's borderline perfection for a TRPG.
Right.
Yeah, incredibly good. Little things like the multiple classes for different characters. On face value, that could look like too much, you know, too much to have different mechanics for every single person in the game. But the synergies between them, it's incredible. Man, I need to play this game again.
The one thing that, I mean, I haven't played it, so I'm not talking with any sort of firm opinion, but just watching your review, and obviously we talk at length about games that we are reviewing at the time and kind of bouncing ideas off each other and whatnot.
Yeah.
The amount of story in the game, I must be honest, did put me off a little bit personally. Having, again, just hearing about it, not having played it. I might play it and the story's so good that's a moot point, but just hearing about it, it seemed a bit too much for me personally, you know?
Yeah. If you've got a lot of time, on your hands, then it's fine. If you're trying to review a game like this, that is difficult, because, you know, you can do an hour without any battles.
Wow, okay, yeah.
It's a testament really to the overall package that it isn't a bad game with that. You know, I'd say that about 5 out of 6 games and be like, it ruined the game.
Yeah.
But it doesn't here. I think it's because every single choice actually changes something.
Well, to be fair, that's a good point. If the story becomes intrinsic to the point where it changes your experience, and that it kind of justifies its own existence, doesn't it?
Exactly, yeah, exactly. And I'm not going to lie, I did load old saves from time to time because I wasn't happy with the outcome. It had to be done.
Yeah, fair enough.
Sometimes you just want to see if it will change, and when it does, you're like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's a good point, because I remember things like the Telltale games, like Games of Thrones game that they had, and something really shocking happened, and you're thinking, wow, man, I wish I hadn't have done this, so that wouldn't have happened. Then you find out actually it would have happened anyway, like.
Yeah, that perception of choice versus a real choice is quite rare, isn't it?
Actual choice, yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let's look at the alternative for the TRPG genre. Again, I'm going to have to pass to you, Mark. This is your field of expertise, and this is Arbiter's. No, it's not. See what I mean? This is Felseal, Arbiter's Mark, isn't it?
Felseal, Arbiter's Mark. I think I've probably played maybe 3 or 4 hours. I haven't played a review length's worth of the game, but it's enough to see almost straight away that Six Eye Studios they've nailed all of the elements. It's really hard. Like, I wouldn't say it's easy to make no, maybe I am. I think it's easier to make the tactics part okay. You know, the turn-based tactical part, it's been done. Mercenaries, you were saying Disgaea, it's been done so much that there's quite a clear idea of what works and what doesn't.
Yeah.
What's not as easy is the other part, the part when you're not fighting. The stories, the quests, like the who are these people and why do I care part.
Yeah.
And I think for me, it hooked me really fast. I was like, okay. I seem to remember you start off in this little town, and there's instantly a momentum with the story, but not like one where you feel like you're left behind. You instantly know, oh, hang on, these people are being attacked, and you know why.
Right.
And then you know that it's not the right. It's not necessarily that they're in the wrong. You see how I'm trying not to spoil the story.
You're going very round about the houses to get there. I see.
You've got to be vague here, because otherwise we'll get the other
enough.
comments out. You've just ruined the game. I won't buy it. But yeah, what I'm saying is it's good writing, and it allows you to very quickly care about the players. And there's a load of DLC, and it's another one where they've put a lot into it after launch.
Nice.
And you should potentially try this one out, I'd say.
Good stuff. Okay, nice. Well, we're going to move on to our final genre now, which is the platforming genre. We haven't differentiated 2D and 3D. We've just said platformers, to be fair. And the obvious one we've gone for is Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, the added mode that they put into this version of the game. Now, Super Mario 3D World first released on the Wii U, which is where I first played it. And I'm going to be honest, this is a game that took me a little while to warm up to. And I was trying to work out why the other day. I couldn't quite put my finger on it, and I think maybe I've got there, because this is almost like a linear 3D Mario game. So obviously you've got your 2D Mario games that are obviously, they're very linear by their very nature, and then you had the 3D ones which gave you hub worlds to go and explore, objectives to meet, and you'd get a star or a moon or whatever it may be from game to game. And this one kind of put the two together. It kind of fused the two together, and it just took me a while to get my head around that, But then I kind of thought to myself that I'd been lambasting Nintendo for years for playing their 2D platformers very safe, and here they are doing something quite different, and I'm moaning about it or not enjoying it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I respect the critique, though, because the freedom is part of what makes some of them feel the way they do.
Yeah.
I played this one with my kids. You can do 4-player co-op, can't you?
You can, and you've got the cat suits and whatnot, haven't you?
Yeah.
The power up.
This is a very good kids game, actually, isn't it? Because when they fall off, they just straight back in.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to play with people. Absolutely. I mean, it's fun to play on your own, but it's definitely a good multiplayer experience.
The way you just said with people. It just human beings. I did the X sign with my fingers. Be gone.
What was I meant to say? Play with people. I can't think of another way of saying that. Saying.
I don't know. Just the way you said the word people.
As if I'd look down on them, what am I? People.
Like people was a strange thing. Peasants.
Exactly. Yeah. No, but this is a very good game. Very well designed. The level structure is on point, as it has to be because of that hybrid nature. It's definitely Nintendo at its finest in terms of level design. And then you have the Bowser's Fury mode, which I'll be honest, I haven't played yet. whenever I've played this Switch version, I've stuck to the tried and true. But that's quite interesting from what I've seen, in that it's almost like an open world. It's like, a smaller open world where you have to go about, and then every so often Bowser turns up and it's like beast mode. It's like Godzilla attacking, and Mario has to follow suit and you battle. Very anime-esque in that respect, things like Dragon Ball. But just quite interesting that Nintendo added that mode in the first place, because they've obviously ported a lot of Wii U games over, and it's the only one, to my mind, where they've added anything significant. There's been little bits and bobs here and there, but this one, they kind of went for it,
Yeah, I'm going to throw in a bit of a red herring, as I like to do.
Go on then.
But a lot of people said that it took influence from Super Mario Sunshine.
Okay. Yep.
I know I think you're a fan of Sunshine. Is it likely that didn't we see a sequel or something about a sequel for that?
No, Sunshine's never had a sequel. Sunshine was on the GameCube, and it was Super Mario Sunshine was kind of what people were expected Super Mario 64 sequel to be. You had 64 on the N64, of course, and then it was the next 3D Mario game, and I think it kind of got, not panned, that's too strong, but some people were disappointed when it released, I think because they were expecting Super Mario 64 2. And whilst it had similar aspects, it was very much its own game, but it has definitely gained some favoritism and some love over the years, for sure.
Yeah.
And was, of course, included on the Mario collection, whatever it was called, that Nintendo released a while ago. And for a lot of the comments I saw, that was the game people were buying the collection for. I want to play Sunshine again,
Yeah, and the reason I said about the potential, look at the photo I just sent you. We'll put it on the screen. So Nintendo put this photo out in 2020, and everyone went absolutely crazy because they were like, it's sequel time, baby.
Oh, I see, yeah. Yeah, so it's a photo of him on the beach enjoying the sunshine. So yeah, I can see where the hype would have come from.
Yeah, poor fans.
It's only for it to be crushed.
Exactly. So what's the alternative pick?
Okay, so the final game on the list and the alternative platform game is a game called Tiny Barbarian.
Yeah.
Now, this was one of the first games I bought for the Switch. I bought it really early in the Switch's life, like back in 2017. It was released physically by Nicalis, who are notorious for not releasing their games over here in England, in physical form at least. So I actually imported it, and we played it together through 2-player co-op, and it is just a fantastic, proper old school, hardcore 2D platformer. It's got a really distinctive pixel art style because the sprites are very small, aren't they? Do you remember?
Yeah, you're a tiny little character, aren't you?
Yeah, hence the name, of course, Tiny Barbarian. But it really does add to the charm. You have, I don't know, it's lovely and colourful. It's got quite a really vibrant colour palette. You have these really cutesy, chibi type characters, and then the game is stupid hard and just like it's that juxtaposition, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the best of these types of games. Your Super Meat Boy looks lovely until you explode in a pile of blood.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. But this is a long old game as well. I think it took us about 20 hours to complete. You're definitely getting your money's worth. And I think about 10 of those hours were spent on the final boss, to be fair.
Yeah, I was going to say, that final
ridiculous,
boss, though.
Wasn't it?
Oh, it's actually giving me some kind of cold sweat action going down.
Absolutely, yeah, it was an absolute nightmare. I remember us playing it one Friday night, like just we're going to play this game till we finish it. And it just took forever. Like, it was unreal. Like, we were delirious by the end, but such a good time, such a fun game to play.
Oh man, yeah, it really is. And I think that's the last one, isn't it?
That is it. That's the list done. Yeah.
Good stuff. Yeah. I'll let you sign off. I'm going to sit here and just chill, basically.
Fair enough. Okay, yeah, so please do let us know any games that fit into these genres that you would recommend. That's a big part of this video, and for other people to see what else is about. Please do recommend any other genres you'd like in a potential follow-up to this video. That would be good to see. Don't forget, as Mark said at the beginning, that we do have 10% off of eShop cards on our website at the time of this video. So SwitchUp.gg, there will be links in the top pinned comment, and there's also a link down there to Play Asia. If you like your physical releases and you want to get any imports, use the code that's down there. Follow the link, use the code, and you get yourself 5% off there too.
Thanks to our patrons. Again, we've had a few new ones this week, which is amazing. And to all of you that watch the channel, really appreciate it. For all things Switch, all the time, keep it Switch up. Cheers, guys. See ya!